All right, greetings. What's good, everyone? This is Chris Dixon, and I am back with another video. Hope all is good and well with everyone. On this particular video, I will be sharing with you all how to create your own personal sigils and mantras. All right, getting ready to head to the gym here shortly, but I wanted to go ahead and drop some content before I do so. So sigils and mantras are very powerful. They are, of course, connected to chaos magic, so to speak. And here's a good book that you all can pick up on Chaos Magic by Andrea Vitamus. All right, Hands on Chaos Magic. Very good book to get. Has tons of exercises that you can do and techniques that you can utilize to improve your magic, your sigil work, your mantras, your meditations, and a variety of things. So that's a good book that you all should pick up. All right. But to get right into it, if you never heard of a sigil or a mantra, a sigil is a symbol, okay, of course, that you personally create yourself, that has a magical intention or desire hidden within it, so to speak. A mantra is pretty much a affirmation or a saying, okay, that is put in a very complex language that pretty much you chant, all right, to empower yourself, all right, so to speak. And the purpose of why mantras and sigils are what should be utilized is, of course, like I said, they're very powerful. But if you understand the powerhouse, which is your subconscious, and your subconscious being the dictator of your reality, you know, based on what it's programmed with, symbology is the language of the subconscious mind, and symbols is how our subconscious mind is programmed, okay? So that's why it's very important to understand the power of symbology, all right? And that is why we as practitioners on this path, we utilize sigils, you know, mantras, you know, and things of that nature to impact our subconscious mind, all right? Restaurants, you know, use sigils. McDonald's is a good example of that. The M logo that's connected to McDonald's is a sigil, okay? And that particular sigil has been stamped pretty much into all of our minds since childhood, right? And that's one of the reasons why McDonald's is a very successful fast food restaurant. They use the power of symbology to pull customers in, okay? So that symbol has a stamp on a person's subconscious mind, which pulls that person in to, you know, buying the products, so to speak, because that's what gets the attention of an individual, is the symbol, okay? So restaurant chains use symbols, okay? Different affirmations, you know, Kit Kat is another one. Give me a break, give me a break. break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. And then all of a sudden you have a desire, you know, to want to eat a Kit Kat, because that affirmation has impacted your subconscious and it has ignited the craving for a Kit Kat bar. So that's what makes, you know, mantras and sigils, you know, very powerful. All right. So when you understand the conscious mind, you know, being connected to the five senses, you know, sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, it is also the ego itself. And one of the primary purposes of the conscious mind / ego is to keep you from manifesting the things that you want for yourself. Okay. It constantly keeps you in a state of doubt, fear, worry, and all of these things. Okay. So for an example, even when you say I am successful or I am happy, okay, a lot of the times doubt may kick in. You know, your conscious mind will start filling your mind up with all of the reasons why you're not successful and happy. Okay, it may remind you that you have a financial struggle going on. You got this problem going on that you still are dealing with that is contributing to you not being successful. You know, it floods your mind with all of these doubts and excuses onto why you're not successful. So this is what makes sigils and mantras to be powerful. Okay, because what they do is they bypass the conscious mind so that you can tap into the subconscious. All right. So instead of just saying I am successful, okay, you can write out that affirmation and make a sigil out of it, okay, as well as a mantra. So that's what I'm getting ready to do here now. So I'm gonna start out with my sigil. So what you want to do is, and this is very simple to do, you want to write out your affirmation. So I'm going to write out on paper, I am successful at Magick. So now I got the affirmation written out. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take out all of the vowels and repeating letters. Okay. The vowels will be the letters A, E, I, O, and U. So take out the vowels. Okay. And now I'm going to bring the letters down. Okay. Now I'm going to take out the repeating letters until I'm left with only one of each. Bring it down. And keep in mind that everything that I am doing, my subconscious is remembering it all, okay? Because once it's all said and done, you want to get rid of the phrase everything that you've done, so that your conscious mind is not in the picture, okay? So when you make your sigils, you want to make sure that you are not remembering your desire and intention, okay? It needs to be completely out of the mind, okay? Because as long as you keep it in the conscious mind, the subconscious is not able to be programmed with it to carry it out, because it's remaining in the conscious mind, and the conscious mind keeps it in human form, or some people would say third dimensional form, okay? So when you're putting your affirmation or desire, okay, in a sigil or a mantra, you're putting in it in a higher dimensional frequency, okay? So in order for you to do that, you have to keep the conscious mind out of the picture. So that is the purpose on why you need to forget the desire or intention, okay? So now I'm left with the remaining letters. So now I can make my sigil, and this is the fun part, because you get to exercise your creativity. So I'm going to connect these letters together, make a complex looking symbol. Oops, forgot a repeating letter in there. Then L, that's my last letter. Right, so now I have my sigil, okay? And what you do is you want to gaze into the sigil, okay? Of course, you're going to draw out the sigil on a separate sheet of paper, and then you want to gaze into the sigil, all right? And you want to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. And as you gaze into the sigil, you want to gaze until it appears like it's glowing, okay? And what this is doing, it is programming your subconscious with that original desire, okay? Bypassing the conscious mind. So when you're finished meditating on the sigil, you then want to dispose of it, whether that be ripping it up, throw it in the trash, flush it down the toilet, or burn it. That sends a message to the subconscious that the meditation is over, and you can now program this desire into reality. All right, let me plug my phone in real quick before it go dead. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna make my mantra, and I'm gonna use the same affirmation, and you can do this or connect it with the sigil and say the mantra as you gaze into the sigil. That'll make it more powerful. So I'm gonna write out I am am successful at magic. So for your mantra, what you want to do is you want to take this affirmation, okay, and you want to make it fragmented. All right, don't make it so fragmented to where you can't recite it, but make it fragmented enough to where it is complex to the conscious mind. All right, so I'm going to connect the phrase, let's see, I'm going to use, we'll put I with am, and now I have eam. Instead of just saying I am, I have eam. Okay, cross that out. I'm going to use, from the word successful, I'm going to use S, a U, a C, a E, and an F. Cross out the rest of the word. And you are putting this on a separate sheet of paper, okay, as well. I highly recommend that you get you all a notebook and you create your sigils or draw your sigils out in your notebook along with the mantra that's connected to each sigil. So make your little sigil and mantra book. All right. I'm going to connect A, T. So I'm pretty much going to take the word at and take the M and the A out of the word magic and add it to the word at, and now I have at ma. All right. So as you can see, it's sounding kind of complex now. And then I'm going to take just the G and the I from the word magic. And now I have the word gi. So now I have my mantra, okay? It still looks like I am, but let's see. Make them a little bit more connected. Now it looks like one word. Okay, now I have Eam success at my gi. 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 Pretty much just chant that to yourself, or you can vibrate it. Eam success at my gi. Eam success at my gi. Eam success at my gi. All right. So now I have the same affirmation in a fragmented language. Okay. So once you create, you know, a variety of sigils and affirmations, not affirmations, mantras, remember that you want to make your mantras to be as complex as possible, so that when you're chanting it, you're not deeply prone to remember. And of course, when you come back to the sigil, to your sigil book, and your mantra, you're not going to remember, okay? So when you make your sigil or have your sigil book or creating your sigil book, you want to have the desire or intention that the sigil and mantra is going to be based around. So this will be the first one. Let's say to dispel doubt. Okay, that'll be the first one you do. Then let's see, number 2, you'll have your mantra. So pretty much you write out, for an example, I do not doubt myself. I am fearless, for an example. So you make your mantra out of that affirmation and you write it out here, okay? And then based on how long it is, you may need to skip a line, but you can have the next one be your sigil. And up under the word sigil, you pretty much, draw out, your sigil. I'm just doing that for an example. So pretty much that's a template for when you're creating your sigil book, okay? But that's pretty much all that I have, okay? Like I said, this is very simple to do. It's not complex at all, okay? Always remember, when you are gazing upon your sigils, you want to make sure that you get rid of them, okay? So when you draw them out on paper, okay, separately, you pretty much you gaze into it, then rip it up after 3 to 5 minutes of meditating on it and get rid of it. All right, and that way it is stamped into your subconscious, okay? Conscious mind is not in the play or the picture, okay? And now your subconscious is able to carry it out, so to speak, and bring it into the physical, okay? Always remember that magic does not happen overnight. Sometimes magic takes time and patience, okay? A lot of the times magic takes time and patience, especially if it's magic that you're doing for long-term success and things of that nature, okay? Just look at sigils as just planting seeds, okay? And you must give those seeds time to grow, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually you'll look up and boom, you'll have your desires, and you're not going to even be aware of how you pulled it in. Just always know that you're doing the work. Just do your sigil work, gaze into it, dispose of it, stay on top of your affirmations or your mantras, okay? Say your mantras daily, okay, to keep your subconscious empowered and programmed in that particular fashion. All right, so this is basic chaos magic. You're the one setting the tempo, okay? You're utilizing your creativity, so that's what makes this magic very fun to do, okay? But that's pretty much all I got for this particular video. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, listen to the podcast, the Tunnel Vision podcast, available on Spotify and all other major podcast platforms. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So I'll talk to you all on the next video. Peace.